United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Motion this morning to approve our agenda.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to approve minutes from October 31st.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from October 31st as written. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, general public concerns. Gary?
Gary.
You got something?
Oh, couple things. On DD 2, since they put that new main in, I've had this water coming out this intake 2-3 years, however long it's been, up on the upper end. It's a 22-inch tile, 24 places. And the water comes out of that intake on the upper end and runs across my half section there for days.
So is that intake still on the old Gary, or is it on the new part?
This is old, this is all old.
I thought Rick looked at this once.
He did, a couple times.
Well, that's what I thought.
But,
Was this the one that we were gonna have, Denver Underground?
no,
No.
This isn't the ones that didn't have the hookups.
Did you open that up?
we dug down to it here a week ago.
Oh, okay. Recently.
And the tile evidently has got something wrong somewhere. It runs half a mile across my farm. And someplace there's something obstructing the water, because it never used to come out that intake. And then they put in this new main, and this old tile connects to it, so it should be
It should be
really
dispersing it. Yeah.
But, no, it's not. Well, you just don't dig down, you don't know where to
No,
start.
you don't.
You'd have to just break in every 50 feet or something like that, about all you
So
can
I
do.
talked with Howell out of Spencer, who has a camera that he runs up tile, and you've had him before. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Yeah.
Maybe you
But
should.
he says, you dig down and you take 2 tile out, and then he runs the camera both directions.
Step in here a minute.
You don't start on one end, because
Trish?
he can only run
So far, probably.
so far.
He's right here.
He's right here.
I talked to Trish
Oh,
about
okay.
this.
This is the email she sent, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, I didn't see
I
no
talked to
email.
somebody about it.
I didn't get one.
But I
Who's
talked,
up? I didn't. You didn't say anything.
Okay,
How? You know,
Pete Howe.
Yeah, you like them, are they okay?
sure,
well, we're about the only ones around, let's go to Des Moines.
sure.
And I've talked to Phil Hood about it, he says he's the one to get. But, so you got this half a mile, and you're trying to figure out what's wrong.
Okay.
Well, you just don't start on one end, because his machine will only go like, let's just say 1,000 feet.
Right,
So
right.
you wanna dig out 1,000
So you
feet.
go both ways.
Go both ways.
And he's $250 an hour from the time you leave Spencer, so it's
Mm.
expensive. So it's gonna be another expense for DD 2. I don't know what else to do.
It's cheaper than digging it all up every 50 feet though.
Pardon me?
It'd be cheaper than digging up every,
Oh, yeah, I mean, you just hate to break a good 22 inch.
Do you think, or do you think you got a general good starting point, so you wouldn't have to go the whole half mile?
I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start on the lower end or the top.
Yeah, I don't either. I wouldn't. You
Well, what if he went in that intake and fed it that direction?
He's really gotta have, that intake is not right on the top.
Oh,
It's 8 feet off.
He's gotta be right on the tile.
He's gotta go right on the tile.
Boomeister held my feet, and I went down and looked in it, and it's 10-inch tile going into the 22-inch tile. and
you got a picture of that?
No. I did.
What happened?
I just don't know what to do. This has been going on, I told Rick about it, talked to Trish, and I finally just decided to call this Pete Howell. And, but then you'd have to have somebody there with a backhoe helping him.
Right.
We don't have time,
Well,
so I don't know.
How deep is that main right there, Gary?
Well, it varies, but it's 4 feet.
Well, that ain't so terrible deep.
No, it's not too bad.
Don't have to have a box or anything,
See,
okay?
the problem is, and I've said this many times, that's where the new main should have gone up around, along that one, because someday it's gonna go bad, and then we're gonna get hung again.
Well, you can invite anybody up, back over, work with them, you gotta have them together, you can't screw around and not have them both at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
You guys wanna do that?
Do what?
I think that's the only.
Well, solution, sounds to me like.
I don't think we have a choice.
He said you take out 2 tiles, or
Right,
2-foot
right,
tile,
right,
and
right.
then you put plastic back.
Yeah, and then they
Put
run
on more plastic.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then you don't dig out screw mains, so they make twice as.
Is it full of water, the top, the
There's
line?
water in it, I mean, there's all the tiles.
It's gonna be hard to get a
And
camera.
that's another thing you have to ask him.
Yeah.
Whether his camera will work when it's 6 inches of water or whatever's in it, and I'm guessing
Yeah.
it's 6 inches to 8. That's just one of the problems, so. you guys-
Well, hopefully if they come, maybe you can be there when they start.
Yeah, I would like to
I'd
be
appreciate if you were there to help them, kinda guide them in the right, so they don't just go hog wild.
No, I definitely.
Okay. All right, what's the other problem?
All right. We got 3 tile outlet into the county ditch. Goes in, into under a culvert on the cross section road there. And there's about 8 inches of water standing in the culvert. And the ditch needs to be dug out for 2 light poles. And this area is where all the water comes down from where the 125 started up there, closing the sink wells in my farm and everything.
Yeah.
That water all comes through this, under this road. And there's willows filling that ditch right there, thick. It needs to be cleaned out, and the ditch needs to be cleaned out a little bit, not much.
How many feet?
Between light poles, 2 light poles.
Couple hundred feet?
No, 4 or 5.
150, maybe 120,
Yeah, it'd be double that.
120 feet maybe.
Is that what they are, 120?
60 feet, 60, well, no, maybe they're yards, 60
Going the other
yards
way,
between each
talked to
pole.
Paul about it, and he says he won't do it unless we pay for it. That's like, for Rocky, it's actually Rocky's. You're in.
You guys seen this, any of you?
I have, I went up,
Yeah, I did too.
and I called Mort.
I've probably driven by it multiple times, but.
Didn't you pattern tile that field here about 15 years ago once, some of it anyway?
We pattern tile the half section to the east of it, we're pattern tiling that field now.
Oh, 'cause I can remember when you,
You know,
when you did that, I was out there looking at
We
it.
pattern tile that half section, and now we're doing this quarter section.
Yeah.
So this is 28 of Avery. Colorado and 210.
210, right there at that junction.
Yeah, it's Avery, yeah.
All right, well, why don't Bruce and Mort, you both seen it?
I did, yeah.
Well, why don't you guys go talk to Paul about it and see what, if he thinks that Rod should pay it, and if we think differently, then we're gonna have to come to some kind of agreement and recommendation on it, I guess.
Yeah,
Why don't you guys talk to him about it?
well,
Okay.
he'll be here today.
Well, I mean, that's when we talked to him too, but maybe you can go out with him and get his explanation, and you've got what their thoughts are, and...
You see, the problem was, there was one of them was an 8-inch, there's 2 tile dumping in that ditch, Hafford, whatever. But when they put a power pole in, they put an anchor in and it went right through the 8-inch. And it's been that way for I don't know how long, and we just happened to discover that. We were trying to figure out why this tile was full of water.
Sure.
And, so we did get that fixed over there.
Okay. We'll start there, Gary.
All right, one other thing. Denver Undergrounds never came out to fix some 3 spots in the 125 in my farm.
That's behind the grove there.
Well, there's one up the road, one behind the grove, and another one kind of past the... I don't know, they called me and said they were coming, but never showed up.
Talk to Rick, maybe?
What was this, he's talking
Yeah,
about?
I sent that email.
Did you?
Well, on the big main, when they put it through behind his house,
Keep on until
he says they cut out the tile and
Oh,
never
yeah.
fixed them.
Yeah, you never fixed
Right
it.
here.
And when I was out there, Trish, I
Well, we
also
need
took
to talk to
pictures,
him
those
first.
tile are still sitting in those
Yeah,
fields.
that's nothing, they haven't been moved either.
Okay.
They
I'll
need
send you
need
the
to find out whether they're gonna, if they're gonna ever pick them up, or if they don't want them, we can, at least we can,
Get them off their
Denver
ground.
told me they ain't gonna pick them up, they said you
No,
want
Denver
them, you
won't,
want
no.
them. They told me to go pick them
Advertising for
up. I don't want them, but I'll pick them up.
Well,
But they really belong to District 125, if there's any value, they need them.
That's where you need to go. All right, when Rick's back, we're gonna talk with new strategy on that.
thank you.
We have to pick them up and bill them for it.
All right,
they won't.
good enough. Paul, out there?
They're out of business.
Paul, you wanna come in? Sure.
Sure. Morning.
Good morning.
Several orders of business this morning. First one is Midwest Contracting, approve voucher number 2 to Midwest Contracting for work completed on our BROS project up here in 61. I think this reflects everything complete in place, short of the retainage. This would be paying everything except the retainage. And then 30 days from now, we'll be looking at that.
Good.
Move to approve voucher number 2 to Midwest Contracting for an amount of $8,878.26.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Bruce, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Second order of business, approve application for construction on county right-of-way from Midland Power Cooperative for installation of underground electrical cable along the north right-of-way of 150th Street in sections 26 and 27 to Delana Township. If you remember right, probably 2 years ago, this time of year, we approved the western 3 miles of this underground where they replaced it, from, Florida or somewhere all the way up to this point. And now they're extending it on up to Highway 169. We encourage them to do this soon, as a chunk of this is gonna be several rows in the cornfield, where it should be. And, we have noted on our grading plans, 4 or 5 cross tile in this segment. In every location where there is cross tile, there is intakes in the ditch, so,
Should be noticeable then.
yeah, they should be able to, figure out where they're at. And at the depths they're going, they need to go underneath them so that we're not messing with them someday anyway.
Are they 4 foot? All right.
That's what they're supposed to be, 4 foot depth, yeah. That's what DOT requires, and that's,
Okay, let's get them started so we can get it done. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Your second?
No second.
as noted too, correct? Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Alright. Third is another construction and right-of-way. This is approve application for construction and county right-of-way from Mid-American Energy for overhead primary electrical lines on the west right-of-way of Birch Avenue in the southeast quarter, section 31, Weaver Township. This is an extension for a new hog facility up there. There already is Corn Belt Power on the east side, and so now we'll be handcuffed with another overhead line on the west side, serving this facility. They have surveyors contracted to establish right-of-way. The stakes, if you'd happen to drive by out there, are not the stakes where the pole's going, that's just the stakes for the spanning. They need to be out another 6-7 feet from where they're at, so. They put them up before the corn was taken down, and this will be out 2-3 rows again, with these overhead lines.
All right. Questions?
Is there any work we need to do in that ditch before this goes in?
The ditch is, 2-3 rows of farm, so,
You like that kind of work?
Just question.
no,
If we needed to do any kind of work, and everybody better get it done before they put the power lines up.
well, yeah, we have several locations where we have power lines both sides, and the biggest one is the new one with the high voltage.
Yeah.
It's got the longest distance, that you need to be clear of, but, again, this is, birch. The reason, hogs are going there is there isn't a lot of action out there.
Right, that's why.
And I don't know, again, we try to pick, and put the manpower towards the, traveled roads or something that has to be there in the future. If we need work done, we'll do work after the power poles are in.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve the application of Mid-America for construction right away on Birch Avenue.
And a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right. Before I forget, I do have 3 of these. The press has got the other 2 copies. I think 3 for the one and 1 for the other. Status right now, this morning, we're in the process of closing the Chatland Blacktop C46, Blacktop Services trying to do the patch. We're gonna core it out this morning, hopefully they're there about noon, so, that should be closed. We have spent a week or 6 days over in the, Hardy shop doing core outs. They completed what core outs they wanted to. We have 1 core out now for the Humboldt shop out in Corinth, which we pulled off until tomorrow. I think then we're gonna be through with core outs. Sand, the Humboldt shop built sand, and filled their bunker up, has filled Rutland pretty well. And, the Hardy, Bode's gonna mix some sand today, until we get, people back from the core out. Another thing that, took time and manpower last week was, Grout Scouts is in, and we cleaned, 6, 8, 10, dozen plus or minus locations, with, blew the dirt out, of the cross pipes, anticipating, their work to time. I saw that they were working all weekend. They got several of them tied. They were over on, Utah, just north and south of Highway 3 on Friday grouting. And Saturday they were, working on it as I went by. I saw them there, so. Grout Scouts has not been here since 2013. We have quite a list for them. They got caught in the snow in 13, so there's a half a dozen items, to complete from then, plus what we added to them, so. They're gonna be going until the snow flies here, and some days that looks like that'd be good if it was tomorrow, so.
No, we don't want that.
'Cause everybody's trying to
We got a
get,
snow fence up yet.
everybody's trying to gather their nuts, so, Jesus. No, we, have held people off a snow fence because a lot of it, isn't ready, for snow fence, and a lot of it's muddy.
Yeah, I bet it is kinda muddy out there, yeah.
So, we have better things to do in 70 or 65-degree November days, so, that's what we're plowing ahead with.
Okay, very good.
So keep coming.
Did you get the signatures?
I'll get one more up, this one he's done.
All right, and we got the,
You just relax and we'll let's see, cost allocation plan. Peggy, you wanna go into details on that?
This is the standard cost allocation plan that we get every year from, Cost Advisory Services. And they always have us certify, the costs have been submitted, and they estimated that the indirect cost for our local DHS office would be around $53,569. The total reimbursement, for this year should be $17,678.
Do we have that, or am I missing it?
right there.
Oh, all right.
No, I put a report up here, and then there's also this
Okay.
one here.
I
and-
was just,
Oh,
Yeah, there's a complete report in your packet, or your, it's so lengthy that I didn't get it.
That's what I figured.
So I figured you could look at it in your spare.
Yep. Good idea.
But they do a good job for us, they handle quite a few of the counties in Iowa.
Got a good relationship with them.
Yeah, we've got a good relationship with them. So it's mainly authorizing the chair to sign the cost allocation plan certification.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, sign, print, title. All right, you guys can go ahead and start talking on part-time custodian for the courthouse, you've been working on that?
Rick and I interviewed two candidates. We had three, one dropped out. And we thought we had two good candidates, and the one we recommended, we thought we had a very good one. Peggy said we'd gone through the background check and had a clear bill of health. And this gentleman, I think, has had some experience with doing some cleanup and labeling and so forth. I think he'll be good employee.
Yeah, he's got experience in the field and pretty flexible work schedule, the way it sounds, and he wants to stay part-time. I was impressed with our candidates, and I think we all,
At the time we talked to him, we said we'd probably start him at such and such a wage, in 6 months, according to the handbook, we'd give him a little stipend increase. 6-month probation type thing. I don't know if we agreed on the wages. We talked about some various things. We didn't speak with him about money in any way, shape, or form. We did tell him there'd be no benefits,
yeah.
strictly a paid job.
They do get, prorated, sick leave and vacation.
Okay.
So based on the amount of hours that they work.
So at this time, do you have an name you want to present forward for approval?
And do you have an effective date
Yeah.
to start?
Peggy, you said you'd rather not have somebody start until after election. Do you think we'd have him here later in the week, say Wednesday?
Yeah, whenever.
I think Wednesday'd be
As long as
good.
it's
Give
not
him a
much
couple
today, I don't
days
think
to
that's
get...
Yeah.
when they started
No.
employee, so. We've
Mhm.
got a lot of sensitive equipment and stuff, so.
Yeah.
You sent us an email on what we were paying now, and I don't have any idea of what we should pay.
Okay, do you wanna get back to us with on that?
Yeah.
Usually we put it in a motion, but that's, you can approve him effective
Well,
a
what
certain
were we
date, and
paying,
we'll...
what were we paying for that position?
I did not bring that with me,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
I can look it up, so you guys will know. But if you wanna discuss it with him to make sure that you're...
Yeah, why don't you discuss that with him, if we can approve him and a starting
Yeah.
date, and then we
Mhm.
can get
Sounds good.
that, and then we can approve the rate next week.
You betcha.
All right, somebody wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, William Putri for the part-time custodian. Starting Wednesday, the
Right?
ninth?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second motion.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's a good deal.
And will one of you be getting a hold of him then, to let him know?
Bill was his name?
Bill, yeah, Bill Putri.
I'll talk about
you, it was,
Okay.
I used to work with,
Sounds good.
he used to,
He's the one down at the labs.
Rick, you...
Yeah, he worked at the lab in 2004.
when
What's
I
that?
was in the
When he
labor,
comes off Peggy, call him,
Yeah.
and he- I take
he
care
was
of it.
all
Okay,
over
yeah.
Oak area.
Yeah,
Carl
we worked
said he'd
with
talk to
Green
Bill.
years and years ago.
Okay.
Get out the way.
Okay. I also, in your pile, left you a letter from, the Stobie Law Office on the...
Yeah, I've seen that floating around here
Okay,
somewhere.
just wanted
What did they do
to know if you
with
who
it?
hadn't seen it, would maybe want to take a look at it. And that's all the...
Yeah, it's here.
other-
That's it, huh? Okay.
I
Just
imagine,
remind everybody to go vote tomorrow. so-
You got all your workers lined up for your big day tomorrow?
Unless, yeah, I never am sure until the day of, because so many times something can happen to a family member, or
Sure.
someone gets sick, or something would prevent them from working, and so for now, I'm set with everybody.
Good.
I think the absentee numbers are up, about the same.
Our absentee numbers are down. We were at 2,200 and some 4 years ago, and we're only at 1,800, so we are down.
Good vote.
Yeah,
Good question.
and it may be they're going to vote,
Or
or
they're
maybe
waiting
they're
for
not
the
going
last,
at all.
yeah, I don't think they vote.
And they are down statewide. I mean, they're just
Really?
everywhere. The larger counties have even been concerned that their numbers are down.
We wanna get a few more phone calls so we know who to vote for.
Yeah, there you go. You need more phone calls, more pamphlets in the mail.
You to watch a couple more ads, do
More
you, Carl?
SSU.
You, what, you right on the edge, what,
All right, we're right on schedule today, a little bit early, so Jody is here with us. So Jody, we'll have you come up, Kathy is here too, and we're gonna listen.
I don't know what your guys' protocol is.
Well, you just come on up,
Come
have
on.
this nice chair, and
Here and visit with us.
it won't fall apart on you, I don't think we switch things on.
Did you get the, job description?
Yeah,
We got the link.
I haven't really had a
Oh,
chance.
bad boy.
I showed them, I talked to a couple, and I haven't really had a chance. You'll have to go through the rundown, what's going on, and why we got to this point, or what we're gonna do.
Okay. First of all, how we got here was, the MCO process, which is the managed care, company's operation. And so, we had 3 contracts, for a year. 2 have fallen off October 1st. And the third one, which is AmeriHealth Elcardis, has, a contract with us until 2018. And we just met with them, Bob and I did, last week, and, without getting ahead of myself, that looks very good, and we'll go forward. So, what we found was, in trying to utilize all administrative, kind of support staff, that Dee had some, I don't wanna say extra time, but some capacity, to, do the billing for the MCO, which is the case management, which is, units that are, revenue, generated. So, the uniqueness for county social services, we are not closing our case management, which a lot of counties are doing. We're actually expanding, because they're giving us, case management cases, the AmeriHealth is, outside of what would be our 22-county region. And what happened was, as we added jobs one at a time, Dee didn't realize how much that job was consisting of until I sat down and wrote it all out, and then looked at her original job description. And she was really doing the job of 1.5 to 2 FTEs, and mind you, with no complaints. That would be Dee. So, I priced this out, marketed it out with the, MCOs, what they were paying, their people, and then, we came up with the salary range. It's regional, so like, if Dee were to retire next month, it would go internal again to the 22 counties regional. And so it's not necessarily, right here at Humboldt, to make that understandable. It is now, because the person who accepted the position was Dee. We had 2 wonderful applicants. It was a very hard decision, and it came down to just the previous experience of building it. And so that's the other reason that I am here. I wanted to be very careful and, cognitive of the other person who applied, and to give them respect, to not have to do this process. And so, I think that, this is a huge responsibility for the region, and, I wanna make sure that, we're taking care of Dee, because she's done this for 1.5 years with absolutely no compensation, and doing her, original job description, and then applying for this.
So Jody, does this mean that you'll pretty much be full-time on this? You won't be doing other things for us? And
Correct.
that has some effectiveness?
Correct.
Kathy,
Yes.
we're concerned a little bit about that.
And, I did have a conversation with that about Bob, and so I had actually wished for Bob to be here.
I thought maybe you would,
And he had a conflict, for another schedule.
but, okay.
And so that conversation, is they'll have to evaluate the needs, of Humboldt and that position of Dee with Kathy, as the COD.
Want Bob talk to Kathy about this at all yet?
We had a meeting, in Wright County, when we brought up this job description, and sat down with her and discussed several options. We don't have a go-to option at this point.
I didn't think we probably did that.
And so, our first object was to see, was this maintainable? And it felt, with the feedback that we got from AmeriHealth Elcardis,
That was the first thing, to find out if they
Yeah.
were gonna work with you. It sounds like there's gonna be more work coming our way, and it's
Yes.
gonna be maybe out of our region even, is that what you're saying?
Yes, we already have Wright County, the case manager in Franklin County, which is not part of the 22 counties, and Russ, has, put on their flyers, CSS
for case management, and we have a case manager in the Franklin County office. And so, and it appears, that several other smaller counties will probably be doing the same thing, they just can't maintain, and so we will be working case management outside of our 22 counties, which is, revenue in.
Do we have another 2080 agreement or something designed for these?
Because they no longer have case management,
Okay.
so their clients will just be part of
They're gonna be
CSS.
redirected,
Right.
so it's gonna be actually through
Right.
CSS, even
Correct.
though they're out of other counties, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Kathy, you got some thoughts, or comments on what you think we're gonna need help with here, that's gonna shorten you up on the staff a little bit?
Yeah, when Bob and Jody and myself met in Clarion, there wasn't a whole lot of discussion in regard to, what gaps we would need to fill and how we might fill those, because honestly, I went into that meeting thinking we were talking about continuing a blended position.
Okay.
So that wasn't the way that I
It
was
wasn't the
preparing to go into
the
that
results.
meeting. Right, so I probably wasn't prepared, because I wasn't, I guess, understanding that was the intent of that meeting. And so beyond that, it was pretty much, CSS admin, identifying, what the needs were related to the managed care process, which I, certainly understand that there are those needs, and it is, a very important need to fill, so. But beyond that, as far as the impact on our county, I mean, that's definitely going to take some time, because, she has worn a lot of different hats.
Right.
And, also evaluating, do we continue to do some of the programs, like the rep payee program? Bob had proposed a part-time position. My concern with looking at a part-time position is that, needs never occur when the person's in office, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so then that,
That's why Dee was able to cover so many
Right.
different things, because she was.
right,
available.
when you look
Yeah.
at blending those things, then it gives you the flexibility to do that. So that's a big concern that I have, because then as we have been in a position for, over 6 months now where we have lost a full-time case manager. And, we've been filling that to kind of let the dust settle, to see where things are. And so unfortunately, people are stretched, very, very
So you
thin.
almost use another case manager, if this is gonna continue, correct?
Correct.
All right.
I think we need to evaluate, refilling that.
I mean, Bob
Position.
understands some of these needs or changes coming, I mean, this
Yeah.
is kinda critical for us as far.
Yes.
'Cause I think what's happening is we're taking a person from Humboldt County that really does an exceptionally good job at whatever you throw at her and ask her to do, doesn't complain, just does the work. And when this came up, she was more than willing to take it on, and and you found out she was a good worker.
Yeah.
That being said, she can be utilized in this area for a lot of good reasons.
She
But
can-
we also would like to be able to find somebody or somehow to
Yeah.
replace somebody that
And,
need to help out in Kathy's office.
and the admin team meets every Tuesday morning, and,
Okay.
mostly by phone, but then every, I believe it is third Tuesday, we meet in Floyd County.
Okay.
And the admin team consists of 2 regional coordinators. Are you Sheila or Todd? Todd. And so then you bring that stuff up instead of just one person seeing tunnel vision.
Right.
And then you have Karen, Bob, Todd, and Sheila, and usually the person who's put something on the agenda item to discuss and vet it out. I know that Bob has, and I'm sorry, I thought he had discussed that with you, and maybe it was the admin team, and I'm getting that, several different options, just looking to see what will take care of Humboldt the best, which is most cost-effective for the region, and at the same time, making sure the client is in the center of that, whether it's a payee client, a mental health client. Right, and
that's what Humboldt's all about.
to make sure that we have a wraparound for whatever they need, where they need it from. And I will tell you that I don't expect, and I don't think Dee expects for her job position at this moment to stop. It's been blended.
That's my next question.
Yeah, and and so that we can get...
We have a transition period, you know.
Right.
a couple of months.
I would like to,
4 to 5 years?
Yeah, I would like to compensate her salary, you know, as soon as
And that's
able to be on the books for the work that she's done.
But we're not just gonna cut her off cold.
No, because there's too many clients right there because she's the payee and
That would
stuff
my
to be
biggest
able
concern, yeah,
to
that's-
take care of. And I don't think Dee would, she's
I don't think
too
she would do
connected
that,
to
no.
take care of them, yeah.
Kathy, you gonna say something else about this?
Yeah, I guess the only thing is that sometimes, I guess I just wanna make sure that there's some advocacy to assure that the voice is heard from our office.
Okay.
Because I don't always necessarily feel, you know, that the opinions, concerns, and those things are heard. So I guess, you know,
Get it conveyed in the right person, the right direction, makes things happen.
yeah.
Well, and I think part of our problem is because we've been running pretty thin anyway, anything that Dee could help, I mean, everybody's kicking in and doing extra. I just wanna make sure that when they sit down and figure out how to replace Dee and what it needs, that we get something that's workable for everybody and doesn't leave us shorter than we were.
Absolutely.
And that's probably gonna be my biggest concern.
Yeah,
Obviously.
and I need to have the capacity then, as, you know, one of the things that I did express to Bob is that, you know, when you look at the dynamics of change and study all the things, I mean, research tells us it doesn't take a lot to read and know that, you know, the energy and the time and things that go into making those changes. So we definitely need the capacity to have, you know, my caseload diminish, because I've been carrying, quite a large,
Right, I think,
in comparison, case management and,
yeah, I think what Kathy's trying to say, Jody, too, is that since this is gonna be a major change right now, let's look at all the workers up here and figure out how we readjust so everybody's in line with what they should be doing, not overloaded, and make sure we have enough personnel to cover the other needs. I mean, I don't just wanna throw a half-time person in, because we lost Dee, that was kind of a full-time, multiple tasking person. That's a big, I mean, she's a good multitasker, and to replace her, I mean, even one person's gonna be probably overwhelmed with all the different things that she has to work with. So the communication here, we need to get this back to Bob, it really needs to be good, and we need to work on this so we don't get, you know, I don't think we have a problem sharing Dee, because it's for the good of the region, but that being said, and we don't wanna hold Dee back, and she can do the work, but I do think we need a good replacement, or some replacement help on this.
I would agree, because looking at what she's done, between the two
You know what she
yes.
can do, so you know she's a
Yes,
very capable
absolutely.
employee, so.
And she's very, detail
I
orientated,
know she is, yeah.
And,
Quiet, and does her work, and...
and it's done right. I mean, she gets in and she
So along with
does
that,
it right.
the executive committee will be meeting with Bob, well, I think, are you meeting with us, an executive
Yeah.
meeting here next week?
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk to Bob, maybe have some ideas for him, so we can get a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
So let's keep this thing flowing, so we don't just, and then you're saying maybe we got a couple months to get the transition, so we're not just leaving Kathy high and dry.
Absolutely.
Starting at a certain date, so.
Yep.
So, I did all the talking, you guys got questions for Jody?
Would you like to know the hourly rate that we...
There you go.
$17.25. What was taken into account was she has the 2-year degree. She's built the job in a year and a half, anything that was thrown at her. And billing for 22 counties is not just billing, an MCO and then you're done and the check comes in. It's the rebilling of what they denied, keeping track of the units you've already billed, what was denied, why, the rebilling, the filing of appeals.
And let me tell you, that's the process that really is time consuming anymore.
I can see that.
This documentation is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And 19
And I don't
years of
even do anything, all I
experience.
do is sign off on all this stuff. But you guys have got a lot to keep track of, and if it doesn't go right, we get delayed being paid.
Yeah.
Thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And Dee has done so well, as most smaller providers and even larger providers. Their biggest complaints to legislators and whatever is they're having to take out loans to make payroll.
Yeah.
Between Dee, Jen Sheehan, and Allison Hauser, we are getting paid. There's one of the MCOs that are paying us as out-of-network at 90%, but we're still getting paid and having to go back and collect that other 10. We've talked, so the team that is there is phenomenal, and Dee is a vital part of
Well,
that
I
team.
think, you know, you take a region, you put 22 counties in there, there's a lot going on. And now all of a sudden, if it's going good, great. you're collecting the money, that's great, but if you're not, that's the 22 times the problem you have
Yeah.
facing you. So the point is, I mean, if we've got a good region, the only thing that keeps that going is people doing their job and being able to get all the documentation in, because it's not easy. I just
No.
totally did not understand how you get it all done, because...
But the CODs.
Well, and the coding, you know, the coding went from what, 800, it went from a small number to several thousand codes now, and everything's broken down so much.
Right.
And if you're off just a little bit, and they don't agree with you, you don't get paid. And that's refiling and refiling.
And they will tell you, the MCOs will tell you it's a different world. It used to be the providers would say, I want 45 units. You would review it, you really could not deny it, because they just would not serve your client. And then trying to find a different place to place them was very hard. The MCOs now, you can request 45, they'll say 30. That's what you're getting. And if you refuse to take the client, then, you know, they'll probably not.
Not served.
Right.
You can't have-
We don't want that, and so,
That's not what we're about.
correct.
Okay, well, I think what Joey's asking then is approval of this position for D. And then it sounds like we got a little time as far as, we can go ahead and pay her, but I think we
Yeah.
can, at least to the end of the year, maybe hopefully get things transitioned. I want a plan put forward from Bob first on how he's gonna replace before we just give her up. And
Absolutely,
I mean,
I agree.
Bob is good, but sometimes Bob gets too many irons in fire.
He does.
And then all of a sudden, oh, yeah,
Not only-
but he's not really working on that.
Not only replace her, but get
Well,
the help that we're already lacking.
And that's where Kathy's gonna be vital.
Then we gotta start looking there.
Express to her what readjustment hours and clients and how we get this in line,
Right.
so everybody's got a fair workload without overloading people. We don't wanna lose the people we have right now because they're feeling they're overloaded.
Correct.
We've got good people that we don't wanna lose, so. Okay, Jody?
So do I.
17 watt per hour?
1725,
Are you
And
okay
that's
with that,
fully-
Kathy, at this point?
reimbursable by the
Do you have
region.
another question?
If that's what they feel is fair and equitable, my concern with that is that then I feel that we are not paying our case managers sufficiently, because that's within, just over $1, of what we're paying, some case managers.
And this is
staff.
probably something we need to talk about with Bob.
And then looking at the risks and responsibilities
Yeah.
associated with those positions, that's my concern. But
Okay.
I'm certainly not meaning that to diminish the hard work that Dee does and that she
No.
deserves a pay increase by any means. But when you compare, the stresses and responsibilities, operating in the environment that we are now, the difficulty and challenges, the severity of the needs, the shortages of staff that our providers face, the job of being a case manager right now is very stressful, and especially if our jobs are going to
Outreach,
become outreach to other counties where we don't know and have good working relationships with the providers.
Right.
That creates a whole nother learning curve, so, you know.
Well, I think that's what's happening, some of the smaller ones that
Yeah.
can't meet these challenges anymore, that's
Exactly.
why they're coming. And we can do that, and we can work with our,
Mhm.
we can work with them,
Right,
but
right.
we need to be able, you're gonna have to pay the people that are doing the work.
Fiscal year 2018, our budget is set for to be reviewed, of the NEI 3A.
Okay.
And you know that we're merging in a lot of
Right.
areas with that,
Mhm.
as a partner, as, what Rick Schultz and Chuck Palmer have requested and
Correct.
tried to do in the Elder Bridge. So the pay scales will be looked at, because every county, pays their case managers different.
Right.
So, for example, a starting pay, for a case manager in Cerro Gordo is $17.07 an
Okay.
hour. In Webster County, it's different. In Wright County, it's different, and they're above the 17.07. So actually,
A lot of things
yes,
like that.
in the admin team, when we were presenting this, we did the 19 years here for the job that she's done, the experience that she has for the year and a half. Then we took into consideration the case management pay all the way across. I went from the lowest, which was 17.07, to the highest, which was, I believe, very close to 18.05 or 18.15.
Okay.
And then factored in the year and a half and the 19 years, and then came up with the 17.25.
You weren't just guessing that, you were using good numbers.
Yeah, that's my job.
Well, that's your job, not ours, as board members.
I can't read a map, and I can't get where I'm
She does a lot
supposed to
of
be.
work for us. She gets a lot of answers to us, and our reports are good. I mean, we really have good people giving good numbers to us. Now, some of the I can't think of her name, but, you know, we reviewed some numbers, activity-wise and percentage usage. and
Card.
stuff. Card, yeah. You know, some of that's becoming more valuable, but, you know, you, as an individual county, we wouldn't have access, we wouldn't have the ability to do a lot of those things, but as a region, we've got, I mean, we can do some good things, but it just takes a lot of manpower, good manpower. It's not just an easy job. Somebody said, oh, we'll just do this and make it work, so. I really appreciate what you guys do, so.
Thank you.
All right, with that, I would ask if we could approve the council regional position at 17.25 for D. Stern. And that's all we need in the motion for now. We'll work out the time. I think we're all in agreement if we need some time. I
Yes.
think we need to talk to Bob, and we need to have some more meetings on how we're gonna
Yes.
do the rest of our staff, so.
All right, I'll make a motion for D. Stern at $17.25 an hour for county social service regional position.
Thanks, Rick. Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, just a clarification, do we change her to this rate of pay right now, or do we wait until we've heard from you?
I would, as soon as you guys can do it, I would appreciate it, and the full $17.25 is 100% reimbursable by the region. I realize that she does some GA work, but the $17.25 is to reflect this, so what portion was not being reimbursed now, I believe it would fall that it would be, because that, the $17.25 reflects this.
Yep,
We gotta go to work and make sure we don't leave Kathy hanging dry.
No, we're gonna have to work on that. I know that's gonna be hard to replace Steve for the amount of things she can do, but, I mean, she's just a very universal person to get things done faster, so.
she is.
But it sounds like we gotta review some other.
Thanks for
things. We
stealing
do
her.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
We'll talk about next week when we have that.
And I will call him and let him know.
Let him know we wanna visit
Yeah.
about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jody.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
You bet.
You too.
The committee reports is not on our...
I noticed that.
Well, you
Should
know,
be.
they're not.
Yeah, it should be.
That's 'cause I didn't have any committee reports this week.
That's it?
Yeah.
Nothing, okay.
Mark,
Huh?
no reports? Any committee reports?
Oh, no, I had just that drainage thing we're not looked at.
Only thing I have is the drainage.
Carl.
I'm looking.
He's got a whole list here.
Oh, yeah.
I met with, transportation people from Midas on possible purchasing the land to put a new bus garage on. That's just in the works, but nothing's firm there yet.
What date was that?
That was on Wednesday, no, that was on Tuesday morning,
Okay.
November 1st. That was it.
You're still kicking that around, huh?
They're gonna come here for sure if they find the land.
All right.
2 years.
Well, we're right on time. I know Peggy's got a lot of work to do. We just thank Peggy for all the work she does on the election process. It's a big thing when you...
We gotta give her next Wednesday off, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, you see about all that goes on with absentee voting and having her booth set up here during the week and getting all this stuff together. And I know all them girls in there are working hard. It's probably a little stressful this week, but
It's a
hopefully
lot of extra work.
hopefully by Wednesday, things will
Good
get back to normal a little bit for everybody and everybody gets out a chance to vote. So we appreciate the efforts they do for us. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
We are adjourned.